Gary Heidnik. The name itself sends chills down the spines of those familiar with the dark underbelly of American crime. Heidnik wasn't a phantom, he was a real-life monster who haunted the city of Philadelphia. His crimes, heinous, his methods, depraved. How did a man born into relative privilege become a byword for evil? Heidnik's story began in 1943 in Cleveland, Ohio. Born into a wealthy family, he seemed destined for a life far removed from the horrors he would later inflict. However, appearances can be deceiving. Behind the facade of wealth and normalcy lurked a dysfunctional family dynamic. His father, an alcoholic, subjected young Gary to relentless abuse. His mother, battling her own mental health demons, offered little solace. These early childhood traumas left an indelible mark on Heidnik's psyche, warping his perception of family and setting the stage for his future atrocities. As Heidnik grew, so too did the darkness within him. He exhibited signs of mental instability, culminating in his discharge from the army due to a nervous breakdown. The military, designed to instill discipline and order, seemed only to amplify the chaos brewing in his mind. His brief stint as a medical officer ended in disgrace when he was fired from a veterans hospital for incompetence. He drifted, a man unmoored, seeking purpose and control in all the wrong places. Heidnik's early adulthood offered glimpses into the abyss that awaited. A self-proclaimed bishop with a mail-order ministry, he used religion as a tool for manipulation, preying on vulnerable women drawn to his charisma and promises of salvation. He craved control, power over others, and his desire for a family. A perversely twisted vision of domesticity became an obsession. He fathered 2 children with different women, only to see them institutionalized. These losses, in his warped mind, fueled his resentment and belief that the world, particularly women, were conspiring against him. Then came the first act of unspeakable cruelty. In 1978, he kidnapped Alberta, the mentally disabled sister of a former girlfriend. He held her captive, subjecting her to unimaginable horrors. Though eventually apprehended and imprisoned, the justice system, hampered by Alberta's inability to testify effectively, failed to see the full depths of his depravity. He served a mere 4 years, a slap on the wrist for the monstrous acts he had committed. His release in 1983 did little to quell the darkness within. He married Betsy Disto, a woman from the Philippines, but the union quickly devolved into a nightmare. Betsy accused him of rape and, fearing for her life, fled with the help of Philadelphia's Filipino community. Charges were dropped when she failed to appear in court, but her escape would later prove crucial in understanding the full scope of Heidnik's reign of terror. By 1986, Heidnik's descent into madness was nearly complete. He purchased a dilapidated house on North Marshall Street in Philadelphia, its decaying facade masking the horrors that would unfold within. This was to be his house of horrors, a dungeon where he would exert absolute control over his victims. Between November 1986 and March 1987, he kidnapped 6 women, luring them with promises of food, money, or simply a sympathetic ear. These were not random acts of violence, they were calculated maneuvers designed to ensnare the vulnerable, women he viewed as disposable, objects to satisfy his twisted desires. Inside the house, Heidnik's true nature revealed itself. The women were chained, starved, and subjected to unimaginable torture. He used electric shocks, beatings, and psychological torment to break their spirits and bend them to his will. Sandra Lindsay, one of his victims, was hung by her wrists until she died, her body dismembered and fed to the other women in a grotesque display of dominance. Deborah Dudley, another victim, met an equally horrific end, electrocuted in a pit of freezing water. The basement of the house became a torture chamber, its walls echoing with the screams of his victims. He recorded their suffering, documenting his depravity with a chilling detachment. These tapes would later become key pieces of evidence, offering a harrowing glimpse into the mind of a madman and the depths of human suffering he inflicted. Section 4. Master Manipulator, Josefina Rivera and the Will to Survive. Amidst the unimaginable horrors of Heidnik's House of Horrors, one woman's story stands out: Josefina Rivera. Abducted in November 1986, Josefina endured weeks of torture and degradation. However, unlike the others, she possessed a remarkable will to survive. She recognized that succumbing to despair meant certain death. Instead, she made a calculated decision to play Heidnik's game, to appear compliant, to earn his trust. Heidnik, perhaps sensing a kindred spirit in Josefina's desperation, began to confide in her. He saw her as a potential wife, someone to help him create the perfect family he craved. He tasked her with maintaining order among the other women, a perverse form of empowerment that gave her a sliver of control in their hopeless situation. Josefina, acutely aware that any wrong move could mean death, carefully navigated this dangerous game, all the while searching for a way out. On March 24, 1987, Josefina saw her chance. Heidnik, trusting her more than the others, allowed her to run an errand outside the house. Seizing the opportunity, she contacted the police, leading to Heidnik's arrest and the rescue of the 3 surviving women. Josefina's quick thinking and incredible resilience had not only saved her own life but the lives of others. Her story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of survival that can exist even in the darkest of circumstances.